Welcome to another edition of the On Level Talk Show. You heard from black women. Black women spoke about how they see black men in Britain today. Well, we have the young sisters, yes, the young women speaking about how they view black men in Britain today. So I'm not going to do a long introduction. I have several guests in the studio, so we're going to have a lively discussion afterwards. The phones are blinging already. We're going to get straight into the discussion because you know me, when I'm ready, I can chat. So here it goes. Young black women, several of them spoke to me about young black men and also their relationships with their fathers.
You're listening to Ankhobia on New Style Radio 98.7.
Okay, my name's Rashida, I'm 25.
What are your views on today's black man in Britain?
A lot of them need to fix up, really. Now, there are some good black men out there who have got like a good idea about what they want to do, but it's hard to find them, and a lot of them my age are just forward. They haven't got nothing going on at the moment.
Hi, I'm Simone, 25. More or less ditto what she's saying. A lot of them are lacking in ambition. Their role models are like 50 Cent, when they should be looking at people like their grandfathers that came in and grafted. Like their ideals of like money and loads of girls and loads of kids, and that's to them showing that they're a real man, where none of them ain't looking after their children. They ain't showing their children nothing positive. They'll be buying Mercedes when their kids are living in rented accommodation or council yards. Baby mothers are struggling on the bus. Even their mums will be struggling. Nothing positive, really and truly.
So you don't think that they're progressive then as a group?
Yes and no. I mean, the ones that are professionals are all with white women, so you've lost a lot there. The ones that can actually show your children how to act and how to be and how to have families and stuff. So black boys are still lost. They've got no relationship with their fathers, having children, having no relationships, positive relationships with their children.
Do you think as black women we know how to positively interact with black men, or do you think we're too aggressive?
No, I think sometimes we're probably a bit above ourselves. Girls are more likely to go to school and college and university and learn how to have better jobs and be independent by themselves. So when a black man's coming with no education, come try to tie you something in your house, he's got no money, he's asking you for money, then he's trying to tie you things, then no. I mean, if a lot of them are equal with you, then everybody will know their place. But a lot of them, you're at work 24/7, they're expecting you to come home to work, to cook, to clean, and they're expecting those things are golden, like, well, my mum done it, so how come you're not doing it? Blood, your mum weren't working. You get me? I work. I expect you to be in the house doing things 50-50. So I think the way that we say things, it probably does put them down in a way, because, you know, black men think like the whole of the world's putting them down already. So if we've come in with our educated selves and putting them down as well.
That kind of brings me on to my next question. One of the main things I heard from the men was that they felt the system was more favourable towards the black women, and that somehow they were being left outside, and that they feel that the system is somehow letting them down, not allowing them to go for the jobs, whilst we're being left through the gates. What is your views on that?
I can understand where some of them have got to go out and hustle to get by, because the money the government's trying to give them to get by is not enough. I don't know how they expect them to live on it. But, like, go and get a cleaning job. Why can't you go and scrub some pots? My little brother's first job, he was scrubbing pots. There's nothing wrong with earning a job to make, and especially if you've got a family.
No, black boys don't know how to de-ghettoise themselves. I don't even know if that's a word, but they've got to understand that when you're in your house, you can talk a certain way, but when you're out in public, you've got to conform to how everybody else speaks. You can't, like the Indian man in the street won't go to an interview for be a lawyer speaking in Punjabi, so why are you going there talking like Ali G? You get me? It don't make no sense. They need to learn how to speak better and stop using the racism card. It's old, because we ain't using it no more. That's why we're progressing further.
Hi, I'm Leah, 21. I just want to say that black boys always moan about not getting a job and why don't people treat them fairly and stuff. But, you know, because they haven't done anything before, they've got no proper CVs, you get me? And then they moan about stuff, but they've got no proof to say that they've done anything before. And, like, they get knocked back once and then all of a sudden they can't do nothing else. Forget it, then I'm just going to sell bud. I'll do what I want. I'll drive a motorbike. I'll get a car. But then they don't really think about the long term, you get me? Then when they meet a black girl who knows how to work, who pays for everything that's their own, they can't take it because they don't know how to deal with a woman like that. That's all that it is. So if they just like learn how to just keep on going for things, you get me, and sort their life out. And then when they do meet a girl who knows what she's doing, they're supposed to work with you, you get me, not try and put you down and act like they're higher and above. So if we work together, then things will be better. But they just don't know that yet. They just don't know.
You talk about black women being left with the children. Honestly now, do you think that we as black women are seeking out the right partners in the first place? Don't we have some responsibility for the situation we're in as a community?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you choose people that you sleep with for real. Probably don't expect you're going to get pregnant for half of the people that you really are sleeping with. So that's a big thing about us. With black boys, you'd expect, because they haven't got their own fathers in the household, to kind of want to be around their children is to be better fathers. But as I say, they've got no role models. Their role models are 50 Cent, so they'll have their child and put them on a motorbike and buy them a big chain and think they're being a really great dad.
Black men, yeah, if they treat their girlfriend properly or their wife or whatever, he will be treated like a king. Trust me, you should give him everything. A black woman will give a man everything. But yeah, they don't want to look after you. You get me? They don't want to do nothing for you, but they expect the world back. It's hard. It's just hard.
How do you compare younger black men, for example, of your age groups, with older black men who are perhaps in their 40s and upwards?
They know better because they're all outside the bookie.
Yeah.
They're all outside the bookie. They know better.
The bookie or they're outside the pub. Standing on the corner looking at young girls that they shouldn't be looking at while their wives at home with the kids moaning about what us girls at 21 are moaning about. They're not no better, chirping all day like they got anything to offer anybody, and they haven't. They haven't got nothing. The young boys haven't got anything either, but that's because they're trying to blame everything on our, we can't get nowhere, no one don't want to give us a job, blah blah blah. They're not trying hard enough. If they need help, it's like they don't want to ask for help, but they're quick to cuss somebody. They know how to lift up their hand and lick their girlfriend, or you get me, give someone 2 lick, but they don't know how to conduct themselves, to want to get a job and be motivated to get on with life. That's all that it is. If they want help and they ask, they'll get it, but they don't want to ask, you know. They just want to take over the world with selling bud. It don't work like that. It don't work like that.
What about, like, for example, your granddad's age? How do you compare that generation of black men, the first generation of who came here, with black men today? Young and middle-aged.
They did. They grafted. My nan came over here in the 50s. And she had to work. My grandfather came over here like in the 50s, 40s and the 50s, and he had to work. So I don't understand what happened to the generation before us. It wasn't even our generation. You have to say our parents' generation. Why they didn't kind of carry on what their parents were doing. Because they worked. There was no sitting down loafing. You get me? Households were proper. You know, everyone's got a nan and a granddad. Yeah. There's no nans on their own or no granddads on their own unless someone died. You get me? There's nanny and granddad. Yeah. So I don't know what happened to their children.
They don't want to carry the tradition on. That's all that it is. And if black boys worked as hard as our grandparents did, we wouldn't be struggling the way we're struggling and everyone having to sign on. So they just need to try harder, I think.
And black women are trying harder?
Some of them are. There's girls that just want to have pitney, but obviously there are girls out there like myself who want to work hard and want to have a lot. You get me? I want to be able to look back on my life and say, well, I did this and I did that. And whether there's a man there or not, you get me? I can say, I fended for my kids. I've got my own house. I've got my own car. Just like my grandparents got what they wanted.
How do you view the Jamaican men who were recently coming into the country with black men here?
Oh, they're all the same. They're all the same. It's just there's Patware and there's British. There's a British accent. They're all the same.
I could say the yardies that come over here, they're clean, they're cook, they're wash. They're just happy to be over here, earning more money over here than what they got over there. I'm thinking to myself, if these yardies can come over here and just get a job in a week, they got no national insurance number, no bank account. You get me? No proper place to live, and they're working and earning more money than the English boys. What has gone wrong with these English boys? They act like they can't do nothing. If a yardie man could come over here and get a job, English boys can get a job with their eyes closed, in tracksuit, no tracksuit, hat, trainers, everything. I want to see the black men at the top doing things that are good, so that us black women, can be proud of them, you get me, and say, they're at the top because they're there and they've earned their place there. We can be proud of them.
Have something to fall back on. That's what my dad says. Have some kind of profession to fall back on.
They can't take your qualifications away from you. Even if you don't want to use them, blood, just get some. Get some.
No topic is out of bounds. If it's real to you, it's uncensored to us. The Honor Level Talk Show. It's real.
My name is Chantel.
How old are you?
19.
Keisha, 18.
What are your views on black men today in Britain?
Good and bad views.
Let's start with the good.
Some of them are safe in their little groups. Not all of them are in crews, but people just label them in it because of what they wear or but people got to know them, and some of them are okay still. And when they wear their hoodies, but that's just them, that's how they feel comfortable, but they're okay.
And the bad stuff?
Some of them have got potential, like academic potential, but they don't stretch it. They don't put all their energy into things that are positive. So that's why they're always stereotypes. When they're stereotyped, they lash out, but if they prove people wrong, they'll be okay.
And you?
Men are dogs.
Why do you say they're dogs?
Because, yeah, they spend too much time going on, like, they want people to respect them for the wrong reasons on the road. With their friends and stuff, impressing their friends. But they don't spend enough time with their girls. They make you sometimes wonder if they love girls or what. Because how is you see them man treating women nowadays? They would never treat one of their friends like that, and they wouldn't want nobody to treat their mum like that neither.
You talking about black guys your age or older?
Mainly my age, or a little bit older as well. All of them are on this trip for fame.
Yeah, they start off young, innit? Like, relationship wise, they're no good relationship wise. They don't value girls, they don't respect girls. Like, they have a gal, a wifey, and their thing, and that's unacceptable, because if they found out that their sister was a thing, yeah, or a gal to one other man, they'll get vexed, or don't see why they do it to each other. And when they have white gal or anything like that, now they treat her like gold and stuff. I think that's disrespectful, because at the end of the day they say like, black girls are loud. Black girls don't stand for foolishness and don't see why they should.
Their mom's coming from the same place that we are coming from. We as younger girls are learning from our parents, our mothers and older sisters, grandmas and stuff like that. So they need to realise is that what we've learned is what we're taught.
If you're going to treat one race some way, treat your race the same. Cause at the end of the day, if your mum's black or whatever, you treat a black woman, make her strong, you make her see what she got in her for her to bring it out positively. Don't just diss her and put her to the side or whatever.
With the young men who are out there today, I mean, you're young women, do you feel encouraged to want to pursue a relationship leading towards marriage, or do you feel kind of discouraged with the way how things are out there?
I don't think marriage is a major option these days. It's more of like settling down, but it's like knowing that your man comes home to you these days. It's not like a thing like you and your man live in your house together, you'd go out and do things together like a married couple. I don't think it will work out like that. As long as your man pushes his key through the door, like coming to his house, that's about it. I think that's what women don't mind accepting these days, but I don't agree with it, not at all. Love don't mean nothing these days. It's like a word, like to say, oh yeah, that's it, now you're my gal, you're my wifey, whatever. It doesn't mean like I love you, like I've got feelings for you. I don't think there's no feelings in it these days, and to be honest, I wouldn't get married. It's not like the old Jamaicans do it, and they come here, send for their wife or whatever, and live and build marriage for 35 years and all that. That don't happen no more. I don't understand how come these boys have got that mentality when they've got grandparents. Okay, fair enough, parents have split up, but try and make a change, try and say, well, I don't want to be like my parents or whatever, I'm sticking with my gal, or, you know what I'm saying? You've got children, look after them, don't disown them or whatever, and don't breed up around the place, and your daughter start going out with her brother and don't even know that it was her brother. It don't make sense. Everyone's got different surnames and that, boys need to fix up and like look positively, don't rush into things because of peer pressure or whatever. Stand back and say, you know what, I'm going to be the minority, I'm going to be the positive one. Don't be a follower, man. Be a leader. Leaders always get respected in the end.
Strong words. Let me ask you both a more personal question. Have you grown up in homes where the mum and dad is there?
Yeah.
No, I didn't grow up with no dad. I grew up with a part-time stepdad, if you want to call it that. But my mum was the one that had to go out and work for everything.
Work overtime,
yeah. My grandparents would help out my mum as well, but because I live with my mum was the one that had to work and struggle and feed me and clothe me and things like that. And I can see and I know what effects, black men do to black women and make them feel like they're so low, and make them have to go out and work and struggle with a child that it took two to make. And I'm not going to stand for no black man take me for no food.
So what do you think about the older black men then? Because you're talking about the younger black men and how they are. What about older black men?
No better, man. They don't set no good example for the younger ones, because when it comes to like the older generation, like 30s, 40s, they don't set no example to the younger ones, because like the younger ones might be on the road walking around with their hoods on and everything, but the older ones are there driving around in a flash car with all their gold and all this business. They're shutting this and shutting that. So obviously you're just showing the younger ones them you don't want to get no job. You want to make your own money, fast money, easy money, and live a big lifestyle, but you don't want to work for it.
Positive to offer. They got nothing positive to offer at all.
What would you like to say to the guys your age group out there who'll be listening to this interview?
all the energy that you've got and you put it into negative attitude, standing on street corner, whatever, smoking your spliff, forget about it, you know, do your academics, sort out your books, sort out your life, straighten up. 'Cause at the end of the day, you're not going to earn no money sitting on the street corner. The only thing you're going to earn is a criminal record. When you get locked up, yeah, and then you realise that then it's turned around, it's too late for you. And I mean, your own black girls will end up leaving you for different men and, like, you know, different cultures. And you moan about, oh, black girl don't like black good men. No, it's because black women are fed up of being treated and being ashamed of their own black boys, you know what I'm saying? But I'm not going to say that all black boys and label them, because there's white boys and there's Indian boys that do it as well. But it's not as bad. It's because they've got things on the outside that make it look good, like half of them are doctors, dentists. If black boys feel that they are being oppressed in society, stand up tall and say, you know what, I don't want to be oppressed no more. I don't want people to say to me, I can't make it or this, I'm going to prove them wrong. Stop sticking into sports and music, because you know it's not going to get you nowhere, yeah? It's your life, no one can stop you. And respect their girls. If your mother's black, you should know. If you're going to call yourself a community, unite.
Make your black women feel good. At the end of the day, you need to look at the positives and things and think to yourself that, you know, if you treat your black women good, behave yourself and things like that, you get the positive of it, you get the benefits from the end of it, because at the end of the day, you end up being somebody good, somebody that your children can look up to at the end of the day. Plus, at the same time, you have your own woman there. You have your woman that your woman will be proud to call her own man. You get me? You need to listen, basically.
No topic is out of bounds. If it's real to you, it's uncensored to us. The Honor Level Talk Show. It's real.
Okay, I'm 22
And I'm 22.
22.
How do you all view black men today in the UK?
I would say that because they haven't got a father figure role, I don't think they're getting the right guidance, and they're just a bit lost and getting caught up in the sell drug things or the easy way of making money rather than thinking long term.
They've got a very don't care attitude. A lot of them lack ambition. A lot of them lack having a positive male figure in their lives. You know, they've not got nothing to aspire to. They've not had anybody setting an example for them to follow. So I think the majority of them are lost sheep.
Their role models are people like Tupac.
They use that too much as an excuse, the whole I haven't got a dad around.
Yeah, but
do you know what I mean?
We're girls, so we can say, yeah, but my mothers showed us certain things and we took what we wanted from our mothers. But with the boys now, what can they take off their mothers? What can their mums really teach them?
Do you think black men as a group in this country, do you think they're progressive?
On the whole, no. I think you've got a small majority that are.
They are, for one thing, I'd say, that's money, making their money. That's the one thing that they got drive for. That's it. It doesn't matter to them what method they take, just as long as they make their money.
When you say as long as they make the money, is that for their families or just for them?
It depends on the individual, really.
They're still up from 9 up and they still don't go home until like 12.
Yeah, but why
to me that is progressive.
That attitude's what they've got right there. Being up from 9, shotting drugs or whatever they're shotting on road. Why can't they apply that same attitude as something good? Wake up and go work for night.
No,
do you know what I mean? Do overtime and then come home. And
Like, if they do take that route, then don't do nothing constructive with it when they got it. You get what I mean? As well, it's just big cars, jewelry. You know what I'm saying? What about using that for a mortgage or try to set up a business or something? They haven't got that kind of thinking, but you know they've got the thinking of making money. You know what I'm saying? It's just about applying what they want to what they want to do, but they haven't got the drive. I don't think they've got no motivation or no drive.
Easy way out, easy option. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Rather than work for the system and use the system to their advantage. You know, get a full-time job. Rather than do that, they'll take the easy way out. It's laziness, like you said, the lack drive. That's what I think.
Nah, most men on road, you know, though, you will see that they really do get up at 9 and they're tired and they're not on road.
Wrong reasons.
Don't matter, but you're trying to say they roll out of bed whenever they want. And
They do, but they can.
they can, but they don't. There's more time now. Look at.
When you're working, it's all about them and when they're ready and in their time and how they want to deal with people and how they want to talk to people. You know what I'm saying? Everything's about them.
I sometimes wonder, is there this view that the black woman is so perfect, like, wow, she's got the struggle all by herself and everything?
There's a lot of females in our generation that are just as bad as the males, believe you me. I can think of a few. Do you know what I mean? But it's like, we're not perfect, we're not the be-all and end-all, but we are carrying a lot of weight. We're carrying the majority of the weight. We are doing
the most. Do you know what I mean? We're doing more than what men are doing, and I'm not slating all black men because there are good black men out there, but I do believe they're in the minority.
Even like we'd be held back by ourselves. It's like you can have a brother now and he wants to go to college, but if in order to go to college you can't work, so in order to not work you can't have the latest stuff, and then if you don't have the latest stuff then you're gonna get teased or picked on, or it's so complicated. Or if you're not in the hype, when the hype comes to you, who you gonna have to back your case? That's the next reason why man just get involved in them kind of lives there, because they need backative as well. So it is harder for the black man to just live a standard 9 to 5 like how a girl could, even though we've got it hard as well. I think it's a lot easier for a male to walk down the road and just get picked off just like that. Do you know what I'm saying? I think it's so much harder for a black male to get a 9 to 5 and progress than it is for a woman.
No, I don't agree. I think if they strive to do it, they can do it. Why can't they? If anyone else can do it, you're a human being. Yeah, you have to. If it's hard, it's hard. If you have to go through some stuff and just bite your tongue, then just do that. But at the end of the day, they come with that kind of argument. But that's weak to me. You know what I'm trying to say? Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. It's weak though. You get what I'm saying? To me, really and truly, yeah, we get it hard still as black girls and that. You know what I'm saying? But we still do what we need to do, you know what I'm saying? So really and truly now, if they want to do something and they apply themselves to it, I don't see why they can't do it.
So do you think becoming political is part of the answer?
I think it would help if we had more people that wanted to make a change. I mean, I hear this argument all the time, and the reason why I don't like getting involved is because I'm sick of talking about it. Who's got the solution? You want to talk about where the problem is and who the problem is all the time, but no one's got a solution. Nobody wants to talk or work out a solution as us as black people.
I think a solution to the problem would be black people getting more involved in politics. I mean, we're in England. It is run by politics. Do you know what I'm saying? So the only way we're going to have our say, have a voice and be heard is if we get involved in politics, if we've got that black person there or those black people there speaking up on behalf of us, which we haven't got. Do you know what I mean? That's why we're in the problem we're in, I think.
Is that going to be the man's job or the woman's job?
Either. I believe that this society is male orientated. It's run by men. It would be good to have both a male and female being that, that political leader for us. But I do strongly believe that in this society, a man will carry more weight because men do carry more weight in this society. I think that's the reason why we're failing as black people in this society. Check most of the establishments. Even though women have got their foot in the door and whatnot, it's still men. It's a man's world. Do you know what I mean? It's a male-dominated society. And I think that's one of the reasons why we're lacking, because our males ain't stepping up to the plate, and it's us just fighting, trying to do. Yeah, we're creating a good reputation for ourselves, and yeah, we're doing things, but on a whole, our society is failing because we haven't got those men standing up there for us.
Do any of you here, do you see a time coming when black women are going to go more and more with Caribbean men or even perhaps African men as an alternative to the black British men?
I think anything out of Britain will probably be a preference. American, whatever, wherever you're from, doesn't matter. Just as long as you're not British.
British men do tend to have a very lazy attitude towards life, a very, whatever attitude towards life. And men from different places, I've never been with somebody from a different country or whatever, but you do pay attention and you do recognise these things. They are quicker to do certain things for you. Do you know what I mean? As much as you've got the ones that are bad, like certain of the ones from here, you've got the ones that are lazy, but the ones that are good do tend to be really good, really attentive. They'll do housework if they need to. They'll go out and earn money if they need to. They haven't got a problem with looking after the kids, so it could sway that way.
You know what it seems to be? The men with the less Western influence that are more down to kind of just be out of the ordinary. Do you know what I mean? With the way they raise their kids, with their spirituality, with their ethnics, and with their morals. It is the better ones seem to be the ones that are less from, with the Western influence, I've noticed.
So what are you saying, the ones that are more cultural?
Yeah, definitely. The ones from Jamaica, they seem to know more about themselves, so therefore they understand themselves a bit better, so therefore they can offer you a bit more, do you know what I'm saying, to kind of make you feel whole, rather than black men here, they kind of feel like they're draining what you've got. You're giving it, and then they're trying to take more than what you're giving, and then they're not giving you nothing back.
it's like you're giving and they're taking extra, and then it's just like they're leaving you drained.
So you sapping at your energies. But that's not all of them, may I add?
No,
not all of them.
Not at all.
Don't want all you guys out there to think we're hating on you, because there are some good ones.
Love myself a black man. Trust me. Love myself a black man. It's nothing but that. Don't ever get it twisted. But at the same time, you need to fix up, man.
Do you see black women as being more individualistic and concerned only about themselves and their own welfare, whereas black men are more community orientated and they kind of see the system for what it is, but black women don't see the system for what it is? So in a sense, they sell out, but the black men say, no, we're not getting involved. We know what the system's about.
I think we know exactly what it is. I think we know exactly what we're working with. But that's the whole point. If you want to get anywhere in it, you have to work with it. There's no point in working against it, because that's why they're there, where they are now.
Yeah, it's true. We do go to uni. Yeah. We use their educational system. We get what we need to get, and then we will go after them, and then we need to... We can then, what we should do is then have our own culture to put on tap and do what we got to do, but we haven't got that, so we just take what we can take of theirs and then we'll just do what we can do. If they clock the system for what it was, then they would make up something different. They wouldn't just leave it and then just have nothing to go to on the side. They just left it and then that's it then. What? Because these people are offering you nothing. That's just it then. You're not going to cater for your people and your use of tomorrow.
They use it to their advantage.
But are black women politically orientated? Are they socially aware? You may go to university, but is it still for yourself, or is it to bring back skills to benefit the community?
Well, either way, even if you are doing it from a selfish perspective, in the long run, it's still going to better your community, because you're going to have children and you're going to bring them up with them same views and them same opinions. They are, and you are part of your community. So even if they are doing it from a selfish, for selfish reasons, it's still going to benefit their community.
What's your generation going to do? What are you young women coming up now? What are you going to do? Okay, so you're going to
move country.
What about the rest of you? What are you going to do?
Ooh, that seems like one of the most available options. Do you know what I mean? Either stay here and suffer. Yeah, stay here, suffer, settle for less, or go elsewhere, like you said, Africa. That would be my first choice, and find a decent, cultured, spiritual African man to have my children with, start a family with. And do you know what I mean? At least that way I'll be putting something back into my community, back into my society. Do you know what I mean? Something positive, rather than getting with a lazy, good for nothing, say for example British man, and then bringing up kids that are of that same mentality. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense at all doing that.
We're wrapping up here now. What would you all like to say to black men out there in this country to kind of make them understand black women?
Just take the time out and just put in a bit of effort. You know what I'm saying? If something's a bit hard, or it's not going your way, try work through it rather than thinking about walking out the door or going somewhere else. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you can work with a Western woman, a Asian woman, or whatever, then I don't see why you can't work with the black woman. You know what I'm saying? It's just about taking that time out, to understand you, understand the person, and just try and gel as one. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work, but at the same time, just at least try. That's all I can say, is just try.
Need to use their own initiative, fix up. That's all.
The same as what them two said, fix up, but at the same time, don't give up on us, keep with us, the same way how we haven't given up on you. Do you know what I'm saying? There's not 50% black women with white men. We ain't giving up on you, so don't give up on us. Just keep it going, man. Keep it real, keep it black.
Yeah, for real, keep it black. Just open up your eyes and see what's going on around you. I mean, there's some beautiful black women out there. If only you took the time out to seek us out, then you'd find us. Don't judge all of us the same. Don't think we're all loose, we're all this, we're all that. There's decent ones out there. So open up your eyes and get looking, and you'll find. Seek and ye shall find.
That's right.
Okay. I'd like to add something to that man that's been married to that white woman for 20 odd years. Yeah, big hypocrite. You contradicted yourself throughout the whole of the argument. I think you need to listen back to the tape, take some notes, and think about what you're saying before you say it. And this is a big 21-year-old talking to you,
I second that there.
And it's not okay done by you and not by others.
You're listening to Ankhobia on New Style Radio 98.7.
What's your name?
Charlene.
Latoya. Okay, Charlene, let's start with you. What's your views on black men today?
Wow, black men are very nice. I love my black men, I'll be totally honest, but they're very tight. I'm not gonna lie, black men are very, very tight.
Yes, they are mean. They are mean, but they're quite good. You've got some nice black men, and you've got some horrible ones. Honestly, yeah. But I love my black men. I wouldn't go with any other but black man. You get me? Especially Jamaicans. I'm always with my Jamaicans. I've never been out with a British man, you know. So
when you say a British man, you mean black British man?
Yeah. I don't go out with white men.
How do you find black British men to Jamaican men then?
I think the British men, they don't want to settle down. They don't want to settle down. They want to know that they can have like 5 different women one time or whatever, play them and whatever. They don't want to settle down. Which why Jamaican men, they will settle down once they find the right woman. You get me? Yeah, that's it.
Do you find black men in this country progressive?
The progression, but as I said, I like Jamaican men as well. Even though I'm British, I do like my Jamaican men. They're more romantic. No disrespect to the Englishmen, because I am English and I have dated Englishmen before. But Jamaican men, they're more romantic and they know how to treat a woman more. Yeah, they know how to treat a woman.
Do you think as black women we have too much attitude that sometimes we cause the men to act a certain way? Because one of the complaints I heard from the black men whilst interviewing them is that we were too harsh and we had too much attitude.
Yes, I think so, because we set ourselves standards, and once they don't stand up to the standard that we're looking for, we're not going to give them second glimpse.
What's your name?
Charmaine. Yeah.
Okay. So you think that we set high standards as black women?
Yes, we do.
Such as?
Wanting someone who works 9 to 5 and not sell drugs. Someone who knows God. Yeah, and who respects his mom. That's it, basically, and will respect you in return. Yeah.
You were talking, Latoya, that you find the black men here, they don't want to kind of create families.
Yeah, I've got a big problem with that. I think most Englishmen, they don't want to settle down. They don't want a woman that's going to stick with them, one woman. You know, they don't want to come home to a one woman or find that they've got to take that woman as a responsibility. They don't want it. And I think that's the big problem with British men. Yeah, they need to settle down.
No, I disagree. I think that Jamaican men and Englishmen, both of them are players. I think all men are players and none of them want to settle down. You find the odd man out there that's willing to settle down. If you find him, keep him. It's really hard because the British men love to cheat and Jamaican men love to cheat as well. So all of them love to cheat. The only reason why I prefer Jamaican men is because I think they're more romantic. They know how to cook. A British man now.
Is that romantic or is that more cultural?
Yeah, more cultural as well, I suppose, more cultural. But no, this is cooking, everything. I just think it's nice. But British men, keep it going. They still know what to do, but just calm down, and a lot of trouble and stuff like that as well. They just need to calm themselves down.
What do you think, or what would you like black men in this country to begin to understand more about black women?
They need to be able to respect women more. The same way that they respect their mother, that's the same way they should respect women as well. Because I know that sometimes there's a lot of, they like to hit women and stuff like that. I think that's out of order. That's just disrespectful, you know what I mean? There's no need for it. Just sit a woman down, talk to her, and both of you just reason it out. There's no need to raise a hand to a woman because it's bang out of order.
The On a Level talk show with Ankhobia on New Style Radio 98.7.
Basically, I think I'd go with that as well, because I think they're a bit aggressive. Black men are aggressive, especially when they've got a woman that stands up to them, a woman that don't take bull from them or anything, a woman that just, stands up for herself and says, well, I'm not going to have this, and it's either you go or whatever. They don't like that. And they need to respect that, as a woman, you need to keep your self-respect, so you need to be on top where you can say, I'm not having this or I'm not happy with this. Yeah, I think that's my big problem there.
Do you find that black men as a group are progressive? For example, if you look at that temple over there, I guarantee you that was built by Sikh men. Yeah. The same with the temple down there. Yeah. Do you find them progressive as a group, that they're willing to work together to build up their community?
I think you have got some men out there that will work, mostly Jamaicans as well. They're hardworking and they would probably want to, be a bit more progressive, but, society and the way how it's a bit difficult for them to be more, should I say, confident enough to go ahead and be up more. I think that's what it is.
No, I definitely agree. Black men have got it in them. They can do things and go further in life, but it's just as Latoya was saying, the world nowadays, it's just so, I can't remember the word, how to put it. What's that word? Yeah,
it's because they know that, you know, the Indians, they're all right with building and they've got the money and everything, and the government will back them more than how they'd back a Jamaican man. That's just it, society, that's how it is.
But coming from Jamaica yourself, how long have you been in the UK for?
Been here for about 10 years. 10 years.
So coming from Jamaica, how do you find black men in Jamaica with black men over here?
You know what it is, I think men from Jamaica come to England, and I think in some ways they've adapted the black British men mentality. They have a bit, and that's where the change and the different comes in, you know, because Jamaican men, they're from Jamaica but they start behaving like British, if you get what I mean, and then Jamaican, they'll be just Jamaican because they don't know the British way. I think that's what it is.
So do you find Jamaican men more cultural then?
They are, yeah, they are, definitely. They are more cultural.
You say that you love the black man. What is it that you love about him?
Same as what Charlene said, they're pretty romantic and they know how to treat the woman good. When they really want to treat the woman good, they know how to go out and do that. Yeah, I can't bring them down for that. They're good at it.
So what would a black British man have to do to win you over? Because you said you've never been out with one, you prefer Jamaican men.
You just have to be the same as a Jamaican man. Basically, he's got to be romantic. He has to be useful to cook and do everything in the house as well as I am, you know. And of course, a man that works 9 to 5 and can spend money on his woman, take care of her. That's basically it, and just have respect for me. That's it.
Okay. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you very much.
My name is Kalmita Grant.
Let's start with a very general question. What is your view, your overall view on black men in this country?
I think they are trying, but not trying hard enough, some of them. The older men have tried their best and I think they have come true. But as for some of the younger men, they could do better. They can do better.
In what areas?
I think from learning from the older men, you know, watch them how they live and get facts from them. How to carry on and live a good life and be strong. You know, some of them not strong enough. They're very weak, some of them. They're not grasping good things.
Is that because the older men didn't pass on the lessons to them?
Well, I don't think they link up with them at all. They don't link up with the older men. You know, probably they pass them sometime. They just look at them as the oldies going down the hill, you know, and don't associate with them to know what's in them, that they can pass on something good to them.
Do you kind of feel that younger black men are portrayed negatively in this society and sometimes even viewed negatively by the elder black men?
Well, I think the older men are willing to see them come up with good standard, but they're not linking up with them, talk to them, associate, you know. They don't really mess around with them.
In what areas would you like to see younger black men begin to improve?
First of all, coming to church. I think that's one of the main facts. Okay, you'll find most black men, elder black men, in the church. And if they come to, you know, just walk in sometime and see what we are doing in here, you know, I think that would be a good thing for them.
Do you think that they're very responsible when it comes to their families and raising their children?
Some of them. Not all of them, some of them.
And what would you like the black men today to kind of learn about black women? What do you think they need to learn and begin to understand about black women?
I think they should value, if they have a wife or a missus or friend, they should value them. You know, treat them well, speak with them, be loyal to them, be honest to them. That the most thing is being honest to each other. And then life would go on better.
As an elder who's lived in the community for so many years, when you look at relationships today, what is the major differences you see between the relationships that younger generation are having today and relationships, for example, that the elder generation had?
I think the older men, older women, they are very loyal. You know, I'm not saying some of the old ones not out of place, but some of us try our best to keep up the standard, you know, not letting ourselves down at all.
And what do you think about the relationships today then with the younger generation?
Well, they're trying, but some of them, anything just get them out of place, and they're easy to get angry and, mad at anything. They don't learn to be patient and loving and kind. They need that.
For you, what are some of the qualities that make up a good man? For you, what kind of qualities and characteristics should a man have?
First of all, they should be loyal, have good standard, good principle. Don't live below your privileges, live good, that others can see that there's something good in you that they can follow. And I think those are good standards. If you live a good life and try to help people, try to first of all, you begin at home and look after your family and see that they are treated well and have good things going. You see that your children go to school and go to church and, don't have them in the street, let go that they'll be nuisance to other people. But you see that they are cared for well, and they will stay and they will respect you and respect other people. But if you don't let them respect you, they cannot respect other people. So you have to start at home to train them well, that they can be a blessing.
All right, thank you very much for your time.
Yeah, God bless you.
God bless you too.
I hope this will be a blessing to some people, that they can be strong and look up to God instead of looking down, because God will help them and prosper them.
Mrs. Clark, what are your views on black men of today?
Younger black men of today, as far as I can see, they try to become very idle. They don't want to go ahead. So the future for them is very bleak, because everyday things are changing. Spiritual world and the temporal world. We must focus on something to help ourselves and our generation to come. They must make an end of something. They must do something. Take up something positive to help not only themselves but the generation to come. We want leaders for tomorrow, not only for today. We want strong people to help the black people. You see, when one black man dies, we want another one to go and step in front and hold a stand and a firm grip. You can't just sit down waiting on the next person, watching the next person. Go ahead. The opportunity is for us, them all. They must take the opportunity. Too much idlers is on the streets. They get the opportunity, but they are idled. And I will repeat that, they are very idle. But the opportunity is there for them, and I would advise everyone to make whole of today, because it won't be like that tomorrow, who knows? And tomorrow doesn't mean death, tomorrow means famine, it means hunger. So sort out yourself today while you can.
I'm Sylvia Lambert.
And you're from Jamaica?
Yes, I am a Jamaican.
How long have you been in this country for?
55 years.
So how do you find black men in Britain today?
Well, the men of today are different from the men before, which I knew. Because today and yesterday is two different days, and different people are around. And when you find one, it's hard to find two of the same. You only have to speak about the one that you really have between yourself and life, because everybody is different from each other.
But as
good ones here, not to say everybody's the bad one are in the cemetery. There's good people around.
I mean, what do you think of today's generation of black men? Do you think they're productive? Do you think they're doing well?
Today, black men, they're wild. Very wild.
In what way?
Every way you could think of. It's true. You could take a man that you find in the 60s, say the 50s or the 40s, like your father, but not today. And when you cannot trust people, it's a big thing there.
So do you think the black women of today's generation have it harder with the men then?
I think it goes both ways. Both ways, I would say.
But if you look at, for example, different groups, and if you look at Asian men, you may say, okay, Asian men are prosperous, they work together, they stick together as a community. You may say the same about other groups. But when you see black men as a whole, what kind of, how do you feel about them?
Flaming lazy. And Indian man is, they work very hard and they thief very good. They're a good thief to make them where they are. And it's honest the truth, I'm telling you. Everybody's auntie and uncle, and when you weigh it up, they don't know each other, but they cover up for each other, which we don't do. We send each other to the gallows. That's how I looked at it, between them and we, as black people.
So, how would you compare today's men with the men of your generation? Do you think they match?
I don't think you'll find 10 out of 100 in my days today. Take it from my father and to my husband and other families, very, very different.
What do you think has contributed towards that? Why?
Well, in the West Indies, when you were young, you have to work hard to get what you want. And over here, most of it has been laid on plates, and they take it for granted. The generation of today, not the generation of my mate behind me, because they do hard. We work hard when we came in this country. And you don't see people working hard or getting up, going to work and take pride in what they're doing. They give them on a plate and they still throw it away.
But do you think that's because of the system, or is it just because something inside of them is just lazy?
No, because apparently the system just was how it is today. Because you got more to get, more than when you came in this country before. You got to walk up and down to get a room those days. Today you can have a mortgage and sit down and don't pay your mortgage because you got to work to get the money to pay the mortgage. So it works both ways.
For you, what are some of the qualities that make up a good man? What kind of qualities and characteristics should a good man have?
Well, everybody wants the best in life. I know I had a good one. Even when he lighted the lamp and out it round the corner, but he was a good man, and I'll never find another one like him again. He's died now 2.5 years, and I missed him deeply. And I wouldn't put myself with another man again, don't care what he had.
So what were some of the qualities that he had that you think other men should have?
He treated me as a child, a husband and a father. Never ever will ever find another one like him. Better than blessed, praise the Lord. I went up and looked for him every month to see, he's not there in the body, but he's there in the spirit. Yes.
What would you like to say to black men out there today in Birmingham? And in Britain, actually, right across the country, what would you like to say to them?
Work a bit more harder and to be stabilized with your family. That's the most important thing. Here, there, and everywhere, you don't get much out of life. You got to work very hard, like my nephew, Bill Maris. He works very hard until he becomes... For example, he's what you call ambassador for the rest of black youth that come in this country in his time. And to be honest, he made it with ambition and work hard. And he get what he wanted. And when I walk into the House of Lord and see my nephew, the tears was coming down, but I hold it back, thanking God for what he has made out of life. Not everybody going to be like him, don't get me wrong. But if you work hard and have the ambition, you'll get somewhere, if you want to. But it's hard working and do trust in the Lord, and you'll get somewhere. You must be an ambassador for people when you are going into something. Even a prisoner wear his uniform to let you know he's a prisoner. But if you don't be an ambassador, I don't think it goes very far. Example is a very big thing. You get it at home and you can spread it abroad to your family and to other people.
And by ambassador, do you mean like a leader?
Yes. But if you don't show example and live the life that it calls for, it's no good. You got to be an ambassador. Even the devil have an ambassador.
I'm Mrs. Morris. My age is 75. I've been married for 52 years. So I can give you a bit of experience about West Indian colored men. This generation of young people cannot be measured with the old generation of the old men. The old colored men are very helpful. They'll help you in the home, they'll cook, they'll help you look after the children. But this generation doesn't find that very easy. Why not? We just don't know. Whether they've not been trained by their parents to be helpful. But for the older ones, we know we could call on them. A few of the younger ones is very helpful. But for the older ones, we can always go back to them.
Do you find black men of this generation, do you think they're positive? Do you think they're prosperous? Are they progressive?
Yes, some is very prosperous because in my experience, my son came over here when he was 2 and now he's a headmaster, had all his education here.
So for you then, what is a good man? What should a good man be? What kind of qualities and characteristics should he have?
I think a good man is one who loves his mom and come from a family that's caring, and they'll show the same to their wives or their partner.
What would you like to say to today's generation of black men out there today? What would you like to say to them?
I would like to say to them, get off their bottoms and help where they can, because the future depends on them.
Well, the men in your generation, they worked very, very hard.
Yes.
Do the men today follow in that same tradition?
Some of them do. Some of them work very hard. But in life you find mixed. Some very eager, some not so eager. But it depends. Yes. What I like to say that if the younger generation don't really understand what life is, get in touch with your mom, because we all come over here in the hard times and they will tell you what life is all about.
Greetings massive, this is Freddie McGregor and you're tuned into New Style Radio, the biggest thing in Birmingham, 98.7 FM, and we run the thing, you hear me?
Wow, there you have it. What should be the final conclusion or the final part of the series of shows that we've broadcasted, where we've been looking at black women and black men's views towards each other. Now, in the studio, I'm joined by 3 guests. I've got a very special guest in the studio. I'm going to leave him to last. Let me start with the ladies first. Gillian, how's it going?
Fine, thank you.
Okay. Kente?
Greetings from the not so special Kente.
Oh, okay. You're all special, you know. And this is a very... we haven't heard this voice on radio for a long time. Let's have it.
Yeah, Brother Pilot. And first and foremost, Sister Ankhobia, I must thank you for actually inviting me on this program this evening.
Glad to have you here. It really is.
And I feel good too.
Oh, okay, all right. Wow. How did you guys find the interviews?
Are we going ladies first, are we?
Hey, just go with the flow.
I mean, following on from last week, I mean, we had the younger sisters speaking this week.
Yeah.
And, you know, I mean, clearly the issues that were raised last week are the same as, you know, from the older sisters. You know, the younger sisters are experiencing very similar issues. And, you know, I feel quite sad, actually. I feel, in truth.
Why?
You know, because you've got a next level. You know, we've got the next generation down saying the same thing. Yeah. You know, they've watched their mothers. You know, they're obviously speaking from their own personal experience, but I think also from the experiences of their mothers. You know, watching their own mothers struggle. You know, have they had significant father figures in their lives? You know what I mean? Through the mom's relationships.
Yeah.
You know, have they got strong people in their lives now? You know, within their peer group. It seems not with the people that were interviewed.
Okay. I mean, I'm kind of wondering how do the brothers out there feel now that you've heard the sisters speak? You've heard the older women speak. You've heard the younger women speak. But you've heard the sisters speak. And I kind of wonder what the brothers out there are thinking. Do you agree with what the women are saying to you? How do you feel about what the young girls have actually said? We had quite a few calls whilst the interviews were being played. But going back to you, Gillian, I know last week we spoke about, you know, how some of the sisters were in a lot of pain and they spoke from a position of hurt and anger and bitterness, etc. But surely, even in what they were saying, there were some very serious concerns and issues that they were actually raising and asking black men to begin to address. How do you feel? Yeah.
Well, clearly there's a cry, isn't there? They're telling them to shape up, you know, and as the sisters say, fix up, man. You know, and you know, I felt a very, very strong sense both last week and this week that there is a breakdown in the structure within our community.
Yeah.
clearly, you know what I mean? And what we're doing ain't working. So we've got to decide to do something different. And it's our responsibility, men and women, to say, watcha, we know what the issues are. Do we want this legacy for our next generation? You know, if so, carry on. But if not, fix up, man. Do something different.
And Brother Pilot, for you, do you think that black men are taking responsibility for the conditions in our community, or are they running away from responsibility?
I'm going to be quite frank here, and I think we are not taking enough responsibility. I'm still seeing the same foolishness going on within our community that I've been seeing going on for the last 20 years. And as far as I'm concerned, if you look at other communities, they look at black men as a joke. I mean, all they see us as is singers, rappers, and yes, you have a caller.
Sorry, just a moment. We have a caller on the air. Good evening, caller.
Good evening, hiya.
Hi. All right. Welcome to the On the Level Talk Show. Do you have any comments?
Yeah, I've got well, not a few, but I've got a lot of kind of comments that's coming to mind. That springs to mind after hearing that show.
Yeah.
To start off, the first one is that I think it's a little bit negative to just base everything on today's show. It's kind of difficult as well to comment about the overall issue, but I do think it's a little bit general what the girls are saying today. I don't totally disagree or agree with them. In a sense, you have to agree, because there is people out there that is like that, but it's a shame that the only thing that these girls have experienced is this type of environment. It's the environment that they live in, if you know what I'm saying. It's only the environment that they live in.
So you're saying that basically the way that they spoke about the black men is not representative of what's happening generally up and down the country with black men and women?
Yeah, it's not at all. It's not at all, because they're speaking from a women's point of view as well, and it's a negative women's point of view. It's from their area and their peninsula where they're.
What's negative about what they're saying? What is negative about their experience?
What's making it so negative is that they're saying then they start on other countries apart from because it's English girls that are speaking as well. Their question was asked, what do you think of the Jamaicans? I'm a Jamaican, so I thought
Jamaican born?
That was a bit To me that was offensive, because I know respectable Jamaicans and Jamaicans that are not like that. But remember, when you're young, you don't usually go for the right thing. You go for the bad boys anyway.
Remember what they were saying? They didn't put down. No, I didn't hear any woman put down any Jamaican men.
They actually applauded them.
Yeah, they were applauding the Jamaican men and saying that they preferred Jamaican men to black British men. Every woman said that.
Okay, I just wanted to make that one comment just to say to the girls that don't think badly of the whole black population, because we're not all bad. We're not all bad. There's good guys out there. I'm a good guy.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you, good guy.
That's nice to know.
I'm not bigging up the guys that they do think bad of. I'm just trying to say that not all guys are like that.
Thank you for your call.
And keep their heads up as well.
Yeah, man. All right. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Peace.
I'm actually glad that the ladies were scathing in some of the criticism, because what this does, it gives us hopefully the impetus to raise our game now and start to step up to the plate and take some responsibility. I recently heard a statistic mentioned on this very program. 64% of black-headed households were females.
Yeah,
and to me, I have to say that issue needs to be addressed. There's obviously something going wrong, as I think Kente pointed out and Gillian pointed out, in the way we are handling our relationships between the male and the female. Because sorry, Sister Ankhobia.
No, go on, brother.
Yes, you want me to carry on? Now, if we are to raise our children in the right manner, there doesn't. People are going to say that I'm speaking from an old-fashioned point of view. We need a male and a female for just balance alone.
Yeah.
And if we don't get the balance, it's in particular our sons, who, if there is no father figure around, there will be some rebellion and some, I could say, the way they're going to behave when they turn into an adult, I'm afraid. You know? Now, Sister Ankhobia.
Kente, sorry, I'm having to rush because time is short, so I'm trying to, I kind of want people to make their points quite briefly. Kente, what are your kind of thoughts? You know, you've heard the women speak, you've heard the young sisters speak. Do you think they're being negative in what they're saying about black men? Have they hit the nail on the head?
Well, they're basically giving their experience.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, we know the black men and black women have serious problems. And the real thing is, how are we going to resolve those problems?
Yeah.
Because we spoke about the younger girls reflecting the problems that the older women had, right? And the thing is that there's nothing that has been put in place to prevent those girls from going to the same situation that the older ones had. And there's nothing put in place at the moment for the next generation to avoid the pitfalls that this generation is going through. So unless something is put in place at this very moment, immediately, we're going to spiral. It's going to be over and over repeatedly. We're going to go to the same thing over and over until something is put in place to prevent it. Nothing is going to change. So we can talk about the symptoms, but unless we deal with the root of it, then...
What is the root of it? So everyone's kind of talked about the symptoms then. What is the root of the problem that is plaguing the black family?
Okay, the obvious root is that the first of all, the Africans we're talking about are the Africans from the diaspora. The Africans on the continent have their particular problems, but not the problems we face in the diaspora.
When you say Africans, you mean black people, yeah?
Yeah, the black people. So basically, we have been deculturized, right? There's nothing set in place to teach our young men how to become men, how to view women in a positive way.
Yeah.
And there's nothing taught to the young girls how to be women, how to become wives, and how to look at men in a positive way. So we are currently in a hit and miss type of relationship, trial and error. And in a trial and error, you're going to get the things that we're having at this moment. So unless we do something concrete and set something in place to realign ourselves when it comes to relationships, nothing is going to change. And we'll be here till for the next 100 years complaining about the same thing over and over and over.
Maybe we won't be here in 100 years. That's something that's quite serious too. Gillian, was there a big difference in how the young women spoke and how the older women spoke? Did you find that there was a big difference between what they were saying, or were they saying the same thing?
I think fundamentally they were saying the same thing, really.
Yeah.
I mean, the words were maybe slightly different, but, you know, the feeling and the sentiment is the same. You know, and it is the how despairing people are. I think that's what I picked up last week. I said that last week.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But going back to what the brother said on the phone, you know, not all black men are like that. And, you know, I'm not sitting here generalizing and saying all black men.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But there are negative perceptions, you know, and I think we're looking at each other with such suspicion. You know, when a brother see a sister, you know, we're the feisty, strong black woman who ain't going to give them no chance with too much hard work, we rare. And the black man is the whatless, lazy, work shy, you know, wannabe rapper or whatever. And, you know, you're going in with the negative stereotypes and negative perceptions, and we're not looking to use positive energy. We're battling against each other. We're not battling together.
So what advice would you give to young, not even so much young, what advice would you give to black men and women out there to enable them to heal from their negative, or at least get past the negative perceptions of each other and kind of get past these belief systems that we've inherited, which kind of make us attack each other? Not all the times, do you know what I mean? But certainly that's what I'm hearing.
Yeah, I mean, I think what we have to do, I think we have to remember that this is a political situation. This is not just social and economic. This is a political situation, and we have to politicize ourselves, and we have to look at where this stuff is coming from.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because this isn't all just about black women and black men hating on each other.
It's a bigger picture,
It's
isn't
a
it?
massive picture. And if you've got no power, right, you're not a threat. Yeah. Right, so if the black community becomes completely fragmented, that's where we are supposed to be. So what we have to do is look and say, well, we have to walk this battle together.
Okay, fair enough. But if you look at any community, Asian community, Chinese, European, in this country, let's face it, the men are the ones who are leading the community. Now, I'm not saying I want any man to lead me. I'm not one of these women who are going to, say, oh, a man must be the head of my house. No, I'm not into that. But, when you look out there, as Brother Pilot was saying, black men are seen as jokes. And some of the sisters said on the interviews, they want to feel proud. They want black men to give them a reason to feel proud about them, to feel respectful towards them. Why aren't black men taking the stance, taking the initiative collectively to enforce change?
Well, to be frank with you, Sister Ankhobia, a lot of this starts from within the home as well. Because if we're not sort of building a strong base from the home point of view, how in heaven's name are you going to go out into the wider community and actually try and fix things when you're not fixing things in your own backyard? I myself, I can speak for myself personally. I was one of those who didn't want to get married. But I am married, and it's the best thing I've ever done, to be quite frank with you.
And you have a beautiful family.
Yes.
And Kente, going over to you, another man who's married.
Yeah, well, of course, when we were growing up, we never thought about marriage as young men. That was the last thing on our mind. You find in cultures that are working, you find people, when they reach a certain age, a young man, he start to think about a wife, and the young lady start to think about a husband. But the way we were brought up, it was not indoctrinated into us. We heard about it, but there's no system laid down that instilled in us that when you reach a certain age, you look a partner to settle down, raise families, etc., etc.
So you're saying basically what's preventing the black man from taking action is that there's no foundation?
There's absolutely no foundation, and without foundation, it's pointless expecting people who are not raised the right way to all of a sudden start to do the right thing.
All right. We have a caller on the line.
Right, I just get to the point, short and sweet of it, right? The girls are writing a lot of what they said, right? Yes, they did generalize, but also they bigged up the brothers where they needed to be bigged up, yeah? But I think the problem is the culture that we're in, the influence with the music, the culture around, all that kind of thing, you know what I mean? Beyonce's telling them she needs a soldier, she needs this, she needs that, so like, you know what I mean? All them kind of influences are out there, and women are trying to look for bad men and expecting bad men, all these men who are out there driving the nice cars and everything to provide for them and act like a husband when that's not what they're out there being. You know what I'm saying? That's not what they're making out they are. They want to be players, they want to be this, they want to be that, but then they want to get with them and try and change them. You know what I'm saying? And they ain't going to change for them. And them are the kind of perceptions where they're coming from. But what I'm saying is, you know what I mean, the women need to up their game. Don't go, because you know what I mean, a lot of them, these men do them kind of things, yeah, and act in certain ways because they think that's what gets them women.
All right, caller.
So the women need to up their game, basically.
All right, thank you very much for your call.
And go for a higher standard, yeah?
All right, thank you for your call.
All right, then.
Wow. Okay, we're coming up to the last minute of the show. We're not going to take any more calls from here on in. Kente and Brother Pilot. Very quickly, we haven't got long left, but very quickly, the men, like I said earlier, the men normally are the ones who lead the community and provide a way forward. Quickly, very quickly, what advice would you give to men out there to kind of help sort out this situation?
Well, to be quite frank with you, if we're talking about the employment market, which a lot of the ladies mentioned, you don't need to be a musician or a footballer. You can also be a plumber, electrician, IT consultant, lots of opportunities in work out there.
Brother Kente.
I would like us men to stop and reflect and to think if the way we are going at the moment, if that is working, and really reflect on what we're doing and see if there's a better way.
Okay, like I said, coming up to the last few seconds of the show, I want to thank all my guests for coming into the studio. Gillian, Kente, Brother Pilot. Look out for Brother Pilot again in September. Thank you to all those sisters who took part in the interviews and the men as well. 49 people altogether spoke to us.